Can you guys believe that the entire Uvalde school police department was suspended?
Yeah.
All 6 of them?
Yeah.
Can
you believe it?
Yeah, are you happy about it?
I'm not happy about anything because that means that they did something wrong, which is terrible.
Okay.
Okay, these guys are cracking up. John just made a good joke. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome, survivors.
Cheers.
Welcome back. Cheers. John beat you
first.
to it. I just want to say thanks for everybody tuning in. This is going to be a great show. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, the Uvalde school police. They've got a big, long name. I don't feel like saying it right now. Being suspended, the entire force suspended due to what's going on. And we're going to get into all that in a little bit. But first, I want to go over the officer down page.
Yeah. So as of today, when I checked, we had 190 officers killed in the line of duty. That's crashes, that's shootings, that's heart attacks. Any officer who has passed away in the line of duty, and every once in a while, you still see a 9/11 health death. So that's all the officers right now.
Right.
Gunshots are up 14% from last year, unfortunately. Yeah. Everything else seems to be trending down, so that's a good thing. So
yeah, but ambushes are up 300%.
300%. Yeah, so check out our last...
So actual attacks on law enforcement.
Shootings are way up.
Right.
Deaths are not as up.
Right.
Not as up?
Not as up?
I don't
Less
know.
up.
Less.
That's a Camilleism. Hey, I thought of a new term.
Camilleism.
What was that one that we went with and over in a crotchified or
crotchal region?
Crotchal region. Yeah, it's another Camilleism. So if you love Camilleisms, just comment below. This guy, he's got a whole other language all on his own. It's funnier than else.
Well, with that being said, I'm glad you disrespected our fallen officers, LT. Whatever.
Sorry.
Anyway, they would appreciate it.
They would, because most of them, almost all of them,
have the same type of sense of humor.
Absolutely, a sick sense of humor.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So to all of our fallen officers, we salute you. Rest in peace.
Salute. And God bless. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about this whole mess in Uvalde, which obviously I think should have taken place a lot sooner than it has.
Well, so the school board has a police department.
They do.
And I know throughout the country, a lot of school boards have police departments. Where I teach, we don't.
No, you have the sheriff's office.
We have the sheriff's office,
Right.
local police department.
Right.
So I'm wondering if there's a trend that's going away from school board police departments, or if it's just this particular incident.
There's a county just south of us that has their own.
Right.
Yeah, because a buddy of mine that retired from Oviedo, he's now retired from the school police also, but he was a commander at the school police department.
Is it necessary?
Well, in today's society, yeah, maybe it is.
But if you had the sheriff's office, I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Well, I mean, what they're trying to do is, the sheriff's department, the local police departments, and things like that, and it starts out with the bigger school districts. And it's like, we don't want to provide, we don't want to hire 8,000 more cops just to put SROs in the schools.
Okay.
So, and then does the SRO answer to the sheriff's department or the police department that they're hired by, or do they answer to the principal? So you have this dual master problem.
Well, I know that our school resource officer is a deputy. Mm. He responds. Ultimately, whatever is the law.
Correct, but there are subtle things where they want, this is what we want the SROs to do. It's like, well, yeah, we're not doing that.
Right, and I've never been through the SRO school. We'll have to have Sean on because he was an SRO, and if we want to talk about that.
Yeah, I have a good buddy of mine that worked for us for a very short period of time that is actually a school, what do they call it? Guardian at my wife's school.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think you bring up a good point, John. It is that fine line where you do have two bosses.
Right.
You have to.
Well,
ultimately, Their job is to enforce the law at the school.
Right, but I mean, I remember getting dispatched. It was an elementary school. It was a special needs student who was like 8 years old. Okay, so now he's 8 years old, special needs, and he punched the teacher. Okay, but they did the smothering technique and they got him into his comfort zone because he was autistic or whatever. I don't know the
whatever
full thing.
Techniques are. Yeah.
Okay, so and as a patrol officer, I responded, and they're like, "Okay, well, you have to arrest him."
But
I'm
he's
like,
8. Is
I'm
what
like,
they're.
He's 8 years old, and special needs. Have you called the parents? No, our policy is you have to arrest him.
Right.
I said.
So I just drew a picture of. I just drew a picture of a rabbit because we've ventured down another rabbit hole here, thanks to Camille.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. But they're like, you have
drew
to
a picture of
arrest
an
him.
asshole.
No, all I was asking is, I'm wondering what's better, to have a school police department or just rely on the sheriff's office, contract with the sheriff's office. That's all my
If they
question.
got arrest powers and they're carrying guns, who gives a shit?
I think it does matter because
I don't think
then
it
you
does.
get Uvalde.
Well, there's a whole different aspect with that, and
It depends on how they're trained and what kind of officers they're hiring. It all depends on that.
So LT,
that's the biggest problem.
LT,
yes, it is.
Let's for those of you who were under a rock, what happened at what was the name of the school?
Uvalde.
No. Oh shit. Anyway, the school.
Robb Elementary.
What happened at Robb Elementary?
It was on May 24th. A Salvador Ramos shot his grandmother, and then he took off in a vehicle. He then crashed in a drainage ditch just outside of the school. He then shots were fired outside of the school fence. The school fence was 5 foot tall, which anybody with unless they're fat like us could freaking leap over a 5 foot fence.
I could probably do 5 foot.
But we couldn't leap over, but we could
make it over.
Climb over it, no problem.
We could.
And then there was an unlocked door. They went inside, or the subject went inside. He was seen by an individual who was a member of the school staff or whatever. He was seen. And the officer, the first responding officer drove right by him as he was getting ready to go in the door. So, look that up. We did a whole show on that.
A breakdown of it.
Look that up. We did. We broke down everything with the shooting itself. But the meat of our show is that the entire police department for this school district was suspended. So on October 7th, the commission decided that all of the police activities were suspended for an unspecified period of time, and 2 employees were placed on administrative leave after it revealed during this little hearing that they had that the first state troopers to respond to the deadly school shooting in May was later hired as a district police officer.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say that was Trooper Crimson Elizondo.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
She was actually suspended from the Florida troopers.
Really?
Or not Florida, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Texas. Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
She was on scene. She was suspended based on her actions at the Uvalde
or
school.
lack thereof.
Or lack thereof.
And do you have the quote she said?
No, I do not have the quote.
It wasn't, I can't quote it exactly because I didn't copy it down, but it's something like, if that was my kid in there,
I did hear that.
I'd be going inside.
Yeah.
Well, why in the F did you not go inside then? But we'll get into all that.
Yeah. So what happened is this scumbag holds himself up into a classroom and starts shooting kids. Ended up killing 21 in the classroom. And during this time, law enforcement was stacked up. But before we go into what lack of actions they did, LT,
It's time for a beer moment. because before I get into this and get all ranting and raving and going ape shit like I always do on these cases,
you should watch the last episode where he just went his I think his head would have exploded if we did not wrap it in duct tape.
Yeah,
but
I
we
think the
just
blood
had
pressure was up.
We had that rude interruption for the beer moment, and then all of a sudden you're going to find another commercial because YouTube just does a commercial.
Yeah, they do, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Ooh.
Unless you have premium.
And guys,
Much clearer.
please make sure you like and subscribe below and share it with your friends. You know what? We are trying our hardest to put out great content. We have all new microphones now. We have new microphone stands to make this program sound a little bit better and, produce a little bit better quality for you guys. So if you appreciate it, just share it with your friends. Just say, hey, man, these are 3 retired cops, and, man, they're having a blast. And they drink beer, and they talk about the unfolding issues in today's society. Just share it with your friends.
From an inside perspective. And I can tell you this. I know that LT has really worked hard. He's set up a new computer. He's ordered these mics and the stands, and he really, really takes
trying, guys. We're trying.
This seriously, and we really want to make it good because we're having fun with it.
We do.
But we also, you know what? During the break last episode, LT and I were talking about, and this is very cathartic for us.
And it makes it even better when you guys comment and throw your comments in so we can see what you want to hear, what you like, and this and that. But John, what's our beer tonight, buddy?
Our beer tonight is Lagunitas Daytime Time. It is 98 calories, 3 carbs. It's an IPA.
Yeah, because I'm on the diet, so I'm glad. Yeah. OLT putting on the muscle and taking off the pounds.
Dude, you're looking good, man.
I'm down 45 pounds.
Not in the face area, but you're looking good.
You can't change that.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe in the crotch region.
Yeah, that's a face. Oh, you're staring at my crotch?
Well, you're looking good. I mean,
Well, you have been married for 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, you have
to that.
Right.
All right, I'm going to start out the bidding with this is not bad. It's about like that beer we did I guess 2 shows ago, but it's not got the bite to it.
Yeah,
I kind of like this. This would be a great summertime beer, mowing the yard, going to the beach, hanging out, whatever. I'm going to give this a 7. I kind of like it. Not bad at all.
I agree.
Go ahead. Okay.
No, I was just agreeing. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, John.
Easy killer. All right. I mean, it's put out as a like a Mick Ultra type beer.
It is, yeah.
So I mean, if you like IPAs, it's I think the only IPA that I've ever seen.
It's a light IPA though.
It's a light IPA,
it's not heavy.
It's not, but you do get that IPA flavor.
A little bit, yeah.
And based on what they're going for, I'm actually going to give it a 7.5.
Yeah, it's a good beer. So I would damn sure drink a bunch of it.
John, you have to embrace the ball. I know you want to.
I'm sorry.
I know you don't want to have your face near the ball, but you kind of have to embrace the ball.
Oh my God! All right,
go ahead.
What's your rating?
You don't have to lick the ball, but you have to embrace it.
He's had 2 bourbons, so we can't shut him up. What's your rating?
I'm going to give it a 6.5. I enjoy it. It's good.
What'd you give it?
7.5, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at about a 7.5.
I embraced the
ball,
the intent of the beer.
Embrace the ball.
Oh my God! All right, so shortly.
But I'm a lager drinker by trade.
Shortly after this hearing on October 7th, Police Chief Arredondo. I'm sorry, thank you,
Arredondo.
Was axed. He was said bye. So and
why do you think they let him go?
For failure to act, failure to be a commander,
failure to train,
failure to act, failure to be a commander on the scene. Yeah, exactly. Failure to all the above.
Was it failure to ... or was it failure to ellipsis?
Okay, whatever. It says that he was listed in the district active shooter plan as the commanding officer, but the consensus of those interviewed by the House committee was that Arredondo did not assume the role and no one else took over for him, which resulted in a chaotic law enforcement response. Let me tell you.
It wasn't chaotic, it was non-existent.
I have been on scenes, big scenes, like felony stops where you've got like 3 agencies involved, and you've got like 12 cops there and you're stopping some real badass or whatever.
Yeah.
And until somebody actually takes over and says, okay, it's a known fact that when somebody kind of just starts taking over, you just say, okay, they got it. As long as they're doing right.
Even if they're not in a leadership position,
Yeah.
they are taking a leadership role.
And everybody just follows suit as long as it's viable.
Right.
You know?
But the superior officer always has the authority to countermand or make the decision.
Yeah, if a police chief shows up and I'm a freaking patrolman or a sergeant or a lieutenant or whatever.
A captain.
Yeah, and the chief shows up and he starts giving freaking orders and what to do, guess what? You've usurped my authority.
Yeah.
I'm backing off. It's all you, bro.
But if the chief shows up and says, hey, LT, what do you got?
It's your scene.
Well,
Or it's your
Yeah.
scene.
but if I say, hey, LT, what do you got? And you start saying, this is what I'm doing, run with it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're doing well.
Okay.
You're doing,
I like
and
it.
see that-
Run with
and
it.
see, that's a good chief because you understand and you have a good vision that
Right.
this person has already established that commands and orders are coming from him. Why change it in midstream?
I'm sitting here.
Yep.
So if anything goes awry,
Yep. Hey,
I
you know
can
what?
step in, reel him in a little bit,
or
and say, whoa.
or you have that other person to say, hey, you know what? I was thinking about this. What do you think about this? Oh yeah, it's a good idea. Go with it.
Yeah, but and I've been on scenes where I've as a lieutenant, you know, I arrive on scene, the sergeant's taking care of this or that. If I think that he's went, you know, off just a little bit, I'll just pop in a quick order and say, I need you to go here, you to go here, and then back off again.
Right.
Let him run everything. I made the little correction. Everything's running fine. Never had a problem. Never
That's
in my 35
it's a
years
good
had a problem.
advisory position to be
Absolutely.
in. Right.
Absolutely.
But Chief Arredondo
Yep.
literally said, I didn't know I was in charge.
Yeah.
Right. And
And 21 people got killed.
Right.
in a June 9th interview with the Texas Tribune, Arredondo said he did not think he was the incident commander on scene. He was never, he said he never gave any order, instead only called for assistance. Arredondo did not have his police radio while he was inside Robb Elementary because he wanted both his arms free to engage the shooter.
He doesn't have a clip?
Well, here's the deal. If you are the highest ranking officer on scene and you have enough officers to go in and engage the active shooter, unless you need to be a part of that team that's going in, you sit back and make sure that all responding units that are coming have the correct positions and you take command.
You provide your people with what they need.
And if he did not do so, and I wasn't there, I don't know, if he was only the third guy going in, okay, then he needed to go in. And if he had his rifle up, his AR-15 up, you notice I put my elbow down because that's my training.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks to him. He trained me on that. You got your elbow out here, you hit doorways. You got your elbow down here, you don't hit doorways. Anyway, if he's going in.
You hit
and
walls.
Right, and he is in that, stack or whatever it is, then okay, he didn't have his radio.
Right.
And screw them what they think.
But then you delegate authority.
Right.
But you do. You say, Sergeant, I'm going in, stay here. Everybody that arrives, I need him here, here, and here. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
Let me
go.
But let me ask you this.
But that's the way we were trained.
But before all of that,
Right.
Before he was even on scene,
Right? He was one of the first ones on scene.
was
now.
he? Okay.
He was one of the first ones on scene. at the scene.
So every officer knows, and the entire country knows, you got 2 or 3 cops, you're fucking going in.
Oh, you're going.
So was it his? Ultimately, is it? So let's say the 3 of us are here, and we're it.
We're going.
We're
and
going
everybody
in.
else that arrives is going to be back
But
up.
let's say you're a lieutenant and we're officers, and you say no, we're going to hold off. Are we going to go
It's
in?
100% on him.
Right.
Because he gave us a lawful order.
And here is my deal with all of that. And you're right. But here's my deal with all of that, okay? You as a sworn law enforcement officer who have been trained, been trained on active shooters.
Yep.
When you get your partner, whether it's John, Camille, Joe Shit the Ragman, doesn't matter. You put your
I
gear
love Joe
on.
Shit the Ragman. He's a great shot.
He is a great shot. You grab your
Thanks a
AR.
lot, Camille.
Not
You
John.
grab your MP4, which at RNC was MP4s. You grab your MP4 and you're going. You're going directly at that freaking shooter. Everybody else that shows up is going to come in a team of 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and they're doing the same goddamn thing.
Yep.
They're all going in.
That's the training right after
you
Columbine.
may have
Right after
7
Columbine.
teams in there of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yep.
7, whatever it is. They're all going
So
in.
let's get to the bottom of why the Uvalde Unified School District Police Department needed to be disbanded or suspended.
I'm glad you said it all. I couldn't remember the whole damn name of it. But you did the original show, so.
Okay, see, this is one of the biggest problems with smaller agencies.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a 6-man department. Okay, number one, we were talking earlier. Why do school districts have police departments? Well, they're supposed to man SROs.
Right. But
So-
didn't you say that the SRO was rotating through the different schools?
Yes. Okay, so they didn't have enough manpower to cover every school.
Right.
So there should be a deputy officer, whatever, at each school. That's the current standard.
Yep.
Okay, but when you hire small departments, or when you have a small department, a 6-man department is a tiny department.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you know they're only paying the chief what a sergeant is making at a mid-level
Yeah, what,
department.
50, 60? Tops?
If that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting not the cream of the crop,
Right.
you're getting the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, you can see it. We already talked about it. They hired a Texas trooper who was she was on suspension, and I believe she resigned because of the suspension and applied with the Uvalde police.
And they hired him, or her.
They hired her.
Yeah.
Okay, because
And then she was fired.
because they're not they can't pay enough money
Yeah.
to
So-
fund.
Hire great candidates.
I mean, if you can't pay your teachers, you think you're going to pay your police department?
Right.
Oh, shit, no.
I mean, what do you call someone who graduates last in medical school?
A doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So Arenado testified in the House committee that he believed the shooter was a barricaded subject instead of an active shooter. Now, this is after he's had time to go back and look and think and everything else. Look, we're not pissing all over the cops here, guys. We support the cops 100%. But when you screw up, we're going to call you out.
We have no hesitation calling bad
BS.
shit out. BS
Absolutely.
out.
So he says, after seeing the empty classrooms next to the one where the shooter was hiding. Now, he saw an empty classroom, so he thought, okay, we've got a barricaded subject. What do you do with a barricaded subject? You
Wait 'em
back
out.
off. You call a SWAT team, negotiators, blah, 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 blah.
So he was under the impression if those 2 classrooms were empty, the one he was in was empty also.
This is what he says.
Right.
Now,
Of course.
the information that he had, according to all reports and everything else that I've read and seen, was that we had a freaking active shooter.
Wouldn't you default to that?
Just
in case?
And then you get in there and you try to open the door, whatever it is, and he says, I've got 4 freaking hostages in here. I'll kill them all if you come in that door. Okay, now we got a barricaded subject.
Right.
Well,
Now back on what you said. You said earlier, if it's the 3 of us, and you said no, we're waiting. John and I should have gone without you.
Absolutely, you should have.
LT, we're going in.
Go.
but
Now,
he he gave himself an excuse and said he left his radio in the car.
Okay.
what is he?
Leave
a
his
detective?
gun there, too?
What is he, a detective?
We're not shitting on you.
No, I know that. No, my point is,
I mean, I was a detective too,
Okay.
so I know.
if you were the lieutenant
Yeah.
on a scene
Yeah.
and you got there and you're like, "Hey, I don't have my radio with me," you'd be like,
You're an idiot. But anyway.
yeah.
Or you would stand next to your sergeant.
and say, "Let me know what's happening."
Right.
Yeah. Or I'd say, put that shit on your shoulder so I can hear it.
Right.
I want to know everything that's going on.
Take it out of your earpiece.
Absolutely.
So his excuse of I didn't have a radio with me. Well, you were standing around in the goddamn school for 2 hours and never asked an officer what the hell's going on the radio.
By the way, there was a big reports about an officer sitting there texting on his phone while they were waiting outside. By the way, that officer was texting his wife, who was a teacher inside, saying, "Are you okay?"
No.
So I give him a pass.
Absolutely.
I give him a pass because you know what? I would have been doing the same effing thing if no one said, go, 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 go. We're waiting outside. I would have been having my text going, "Babe, are you okay?"
So
Absolutely, I would have.
So ultimately, because I know we're probably a little over time. Do you think this is ultimately a failure of leadership, a failure to act by officers, or a perfect storm?
This is it's not a perfect storm. This is a complete, absolute.
That's what I'm saying. Where everything goes to shit.
It's a failure of leadership.
Okay.
Because when he got there as the chief of police,
and you
for
said
that
he
police
was
department, one of the first to arrive, he should have said, "Joe and Bill and Jane, get your shit on. Go find that shooter and take him
I'm right
out.
here with you.
I'm right behind you. Let's
Oh,
go."
yeah, and by the way,
Sorry, I'm screaming, guys.
Not locked.
What?
The door was not locked.
It was not locked. It was not locked to the classroom.
Well, how would it be locked? Like, I'm a teacher. I have to have the key to
So
lock it.
all the argument where it was locked, it wasn't locked.
All right,
Okay.
so here's what the Texas House Committee, here's what they went over. They released in July, and they said responding officers lacked clear leadership, basic communications, sufficient urgency to more quickly confront the gunman who was shot and killed after a U.S. Border Patrol tactical team entered the classroom where most of the victims were shot. Command post. A command post could have been transformed chaos into order. If they would have got
They didn't even need a command post.
but I'm saying after the initial teams went in to take this guy out,
Right.
Command post.
Yep.
And it could have been 4 guys right there, command post. Okay, you're in charge of securing the perimeter. You're in charge of the teams that are inside. You're in charge of the outer perimeter. So you got an inner perimeter, outer perimeter.
You don't need rank for that.
No. You do not need rank for that.
And
you know what? John worked for me off and on for 20 freaking years as my second in command, always.
Yep.
And he would have, if he knew that the Sarge, which was me at the time,
Sarge,
went in, he would have said, "You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this," and it would have been. And
so
if there was only one team in there, he would have gathered a team, and he would have been right on my ass.
So not only a lack of leadership, but a lack of training.
I totally agree, but the lack of leadership spurred everything.
Because
at the beginning.
I remember when I was with the state, we worked a murder of a police officer, huge manhunt, and me and about 3 other agents showed up. You're absolutely right, and I didn't even think about it until just now. No supervisors, but we set it up. All right, we're going to start gathering information because we had the SWAT team and canines, all that, and we're like, okay, you guys do this, and just taking charge, doing shit that needs to be done.
I wish the fire department was there.
Right?
Because, I mean, you always call them America's second responders, but holy shit, do they know how to run incident command?
Yeah. No, they are the top for incident command, and I don't know why that doesn't trickle down to police. I don't.
But they would have had people working on budgets and people working on getting new fire trucks,
logistics.
And, a
backhoe, buying some turtle wax.
They would have been like, "Hey, we need more tire shine."
Hey, no, wait, that was not a slight at fire.
Yes, it was.
No, I wasn't. I was actually
Way to give us a layup, John.
Hey, you know what? I think we need new recliners for the bunk room.
My brother-in-law, firefighter, local city.
Love your brother.
He put in a grant. Firefighter. He said we need emergency beds in case of a large-scale blah blah blah. They bought Lazy Boys.
I'm telling you right
Emergency
now,
beds.
man. Them mofos, and I love them to death. And Rob Howington, if you ever listen to this show, I love you, man. You are the best. He's a now, you know what? He got promoted.
I
is
assume
now
so. He's
second in
assistant chief.
command. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because
And he is thebomb.com.
I just found out a couple of months ago he lives in my neighborhood.
Yes, he does. Well, just on the outside of the
it's
newer
still
neighborhood behind you. Yeah.
But I saw the deputy chief's car there, and I'm like,
Who's
There
that?
is no. His name's Rob Howington.
Okay. So,
This
John,
guy's
you were
the
going
best.
to try to recuperate your.
Hold on, I gotta
your
go over
layout.
this. Hold on. Hold on.
Jeez.
Shut up with the fire department. Yeah, so the command post could have transformed chaos into order, including the deliberate assignments of task and flow of information necessary to inform critical decision making. Notably, nobody assured that responders making key decisions inside the building received information that students and teachers had survived the initial burst of gunfire, were trapped in rooms 111 and 112, and had called out for help. Some responders outside and inside the building knew that information through radio communications, but nobody in command analyzed. Bear burp, sorry, but nobody. Ooh, that was a good one. Where was that?
Nobody in the command.
Nobody in command analyzed this information to recognize that the attacker was preventing critically injured victims from obtaining medical care. Instead of continuing to act as if they were addressing a barricaded subject scenario in which responders had time on their side, they should have reassessed the scenario as one involving an active shooter. And I absolutely agree.
That should always be the default.
And you know what? I don't always agree with a citizens panel that has, that looks at this shit and says whatever. I don't agree with them because they haven't been on the field. But I think they nailed this one down pretty close on that statement right there. And that was from the Texas House Committee.
I think the last sentence is one of the most important things in law enforcement is you always have to constantly reassess the situation.
What has changed?
Continuously.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What's different? Yep, absolutely.
So he could have said, right now, I don't hear shooting.
Yep.
Hostage situation.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, LT, to wrap this up, is there going after today? Is there going to be a Uvalde school district, unified school district?
You know what? I don't know. I really don't know.
Or are they just going to say, you know what? No.
I don't know, but I will tell you this, that I think that if there is that police department and it continues, they need to get up to date on their training. Mm-hmm. They need to get up to date on their command leadership and what we were talking about.
Hire some firefighters
with the fire department, the command incident structure, incident command structure and everything else. And I think they really need to training. John said it earlier. Training.
Yep.
Dude, twice a year we did it at RPD.
Yeah.
And, I hated it at the time. It was like, oh, my God, I got to go get shot with these freaking paint bullets and everything else. But you know what? It is invaluable training that you can never get from just going to the range and going right on the left, right on the right, right on the fire line. Fire.
Right.
You just can't get that kind of training.
No.
Which that's what I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent. That's what I loved about you, except for crawling in the puddles that were 3 foot deep or 2 foot deep. About you when you were our training officer at the range is you made everything.
Almost his whole nose was underwater.
Oh, big time. It was lifelike. You made it. And Matt, I got to give Matt props. The new training officer for the range, he does a really good job with that. He really does. Or did when I was there. Make it lifelike. We shot out of the cars. Pull up on a scene. We were shooting out of the cars. Officers need to do that. Guys, if you are not doing life type training, shit that's going on right there where you're shooting out of a car window when you're arriving on scene because you've been ambushed, if you're not doing that type of training, I would say, number one, you need to approach your admin and say, we need to do this type of training. If they say no, you need to find a new agency to go to that will do that type of training.
Absolutely.
Because they don't give a shit about you.
Yep.
They care about the dollars and cents of the training budget and not your safety in your training.
Absolutely. John, what do you think about this unified police department? Is it going to last, or what are they going to do?
No, it's going to be disbanded, in my opinion, or
It's gone.
it should be. I understand the purpose of the school districts having like I said, the SROs and things like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be expanded so that you don't have a 6-man department. It may be a region wide, like a congressional district wide, something that you
Something.
where but you have to be able to fund it. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to pay quality officers because, unfortunately, like I said, what do you call someone who graduates last in medical school? Doctor.
Yep.
Last one who graduates from the academy is still officer.
Yep.
And they're not necessarily, they're qualified,
Right.
but we've all trained people.
But are they really?
We've trained people and said, yeah, this
During
is not,
FTO, are you like, oof?
yeah,
Yeah.
this is not the job for you.
Yeah.
And fortunately, at our agency anyway, because I ran the training division forever, the field training division, and John was one of my top FTOs, training them, he would come to me and he'd go, Sarge, ain't no freaking way this guy is making it through training, or girl, whatever. They are absolutely freaking terrible. And we give them remedial. And then after a while, you're like, okay, you're gone.
Well,
See ya.
it's a difference between classroom and real world.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Can you do well in classroom? Possibly.
But,
Can you
of
do
course.
well in the real world?
How
Maybe
many
not.
people you know have a degree that are blinking idiots?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Whoa, that kind of hurts.
Well, listen.
So wait, I don't get a say.
Yes, you do.
So I think that there's probably going to be money.
Wow, he gets so freaking.
I think if the school board wanted to keep the police department, they're going to have to revamp the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have to get federal dollars, which after this incident, I believe that there probably would be federal dollars in this.
Not under the current administration.
Well,
Defund the police. Oh, wait, now. Oh, he loves the police now.
right now.
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
But you're right. They would have to get school resource officers, and so I'm going to talk about where I work. We have I'm going to use synergy, where we have the sheriff's office and guardians from the school board working together to protect our schools.
Right.
And I think that's a real. We have a school resource officer and 2 guardians at our high school.
Yep.
It's a good combination. I think so.
Well, no matter what happens, here at Surviving the Badge, we still got your 6 always.